Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me on this session today. My name is Miguel Gallardo. I'm the Chief Product Officer at The All Solutions. And today, I would like to talk about how we can incorporate sustainability into everyday supply chain decisions. Before we start, I would like to introduce what is The All Solution. We're a technology company, a Canadian company based on Waterloo, Ontario. Our mission is to help organizations to get better supply chain performance that could lead them for benefits for people, planet, and profit. And we have experience working with CPG and food and ingredient companies, help them to improve their supply chains. And this is just a sample of the companies that we have worked with in the past. And if you want to know more about us, we have a booth outside. The topic I would like to discuss today is the plastic waste crisis and how we believe at all we have alternatives to help to address this issue. Before we start, I would like to give some numbers that could help us to describe the magnitude of this crisis. Plastic packaging, the production of plastic packaging creates more than 1 gigaton of greenhouse gas emissions per year. That means plastic is one of the main contributors in the global warming crisis that we are having. During our research, we also found one statistic that surprised us, is that only 9% of the plastic waste in Canada get recycled. That means the effort that you are doing at your home, separating your garbage, doesn't translate in concrete benefit for the environment. In addition to that, more than 29,000 tons of plastic is tossed to the environment as litter every year. These numbers just help us to quantify the magnitude and the urgency of this crisis, and that we need to act now. And in our interaction with food companies, we have realized that they want to cut plastic packaging. They have the intention to do it. Why? Several reasons. Probably the first one, regulation. Single-ban plastic is coming in Canada, is already a situation in Europe, and some provinces are even having more strict regulation, like British Columbia, that are forcing manufacturers and distributors to pay taxes for the plastic that they are throwing to the environment. Also, we are having pressure from the customers. 9 out of 10 Canadians are worried about the plastic crisis based in some recent polls that we have access to. And finally, the investors are putting pressure on companies in reporting in ESG framework, environmental, social, and governance issues. But even though we have the willing to act, sometimes we don't know where to start and how to start. And we are here because we believe supply chain is a place that could lead the fight against this crisis. However, for supply chain within companies to be an actor, we need to switch the traditional thinking that we have in supply chain that we could be part of the solutions. Why? Today, we have 2 issues that companies need to be addressing. The first one is that traditional supply chain frameworks do not include sustainability as a performance attribute. These frameworks are the ones that define supply chain strategy and metrics that the companies are quantifying regularly, and they do not include supply chain factors, sustainability factors. And the second part is to be able to address the plastic waste crisis at a company level. We need the right data at the right time to support everyday decisions. And I would like to discuss these 2 topics and give you some suggestions how we can improve this situation within your organizations. The first one, as I mentioned, supply chain frameworks need an update. The way that we have designed supply chain strategy is obsolete because it's based mostly in 3 main factors: service, cost, and asset or catch. And then this is the way that we configure our strategy, the metrics that they are important for companies. And even though you have variations between these frameworks, This is another one. All of them at the end is just a different grouping of this factor. And why this is a problem? Where is sustainability? It is not part of the equation. And that is extremely critical to solve. We need to work on to solve this issue. Why? Because what doesn't get measured doesn't get improved. If we don't have a strategic metric within our organization to address this type of problems, we will not be able to improve them. To provide an example of how these different frameworks come to place in real life, I just built an example with two companies, Amazon and AliExpress, and how they normally use these frameworks to configure their strategy. For example, from a service perspective, Amazon is highly reliable and they are responsive, short lead time. If you have Prime, less than 2 days, you have the product at your home. In the other side, AliExpress, less reliable, longer lead time, more than 2-3 months to receive a product. That translates in cost strategy. Of course, higher services come with higher prices. You pay probably more than 10 times the cost of an item in Amazon, and AliExpress have lower cost. And that will be the way that we decide supply chain strategy to support organizational strategies today. But what would happen if we bring additional factors, like plastic, within the definition of our strategy? Today, Amazon is doing an effort either to use renewable plastic or recyclable plastic within the packaging that they use to send the product to your home. AliExpress doesn't do that. But the important part is, if we have more information, will you choose differently? We believe yes. Like having more information could drive different behavior within the companies and within the consumers. And that is the reason why supply chain frameworks need an update that could represent this new scenario that we are addressing. The second point is we need the right data at the right time to support our decisions. But this could be a difficult challenge, as difficult as seeing in the dark. Sometimes you need to merge data, pull it in a spreadsheet. The data exists in multiple systems. It doesn't have the quality that you want, and could be complicated for some companies to have metrics about supply chain and also sustainability. This is the type of frameworks or the type of problem that we solve at the OWL, and we use it, and we solve them using a methodology that we call DIA. I'm from Chile, South America, and DIA is the Spanish word for day. And we call it in this way because we believe that we need to bring light to this darkness and this complexity. And the steps that we use in DIA are 3. The first one is we need to find the right data. Companies accumulate a lot of data in their system, but they don't know how to use it. And then we need to find that right data to measure the specific KPIs that we want. The second part of the methodology is that we need to transform that data to insight. And here is where the domain knowledge comes to place, and the frameworks that define our strategy help us to identify what we would like to measure. And finally, change is made by people and is made by actions. We could have the best insight in the world. If nobody acts on them, there is no change that could help us to fight this crisis. And then who is responsible for acting? It needs to be part of the methodology that we are trying to introduce. For this reason, we need better supply chain frameworks. We need to have the right data at the right time. And for this situation, we create at the OWL a new product that is called OWL Plastic Waste Management Solution. This is a decision supporting tool that will help companies to reduce plastic waste with the following attributes. First, we will help you to calculate your plastic waste and the associated carbon footprint using your data that already exists in your ERP or any other system, but you will have full visibility about what is happening, from which country you are buying plastic to which point of sale you are selling it, what type of transformation, which type of plastic, and so on. The second aspect is that we will cut the latency of the report. Today, the state of the practice is people or companies report probably once a year about sustainability metrics. And if you need to wait a year to see the impact of your actions, there is no way that the change will be at the velocity that we need. And then this tool will help you to monitor, for example, your plastic waste on a daily basis, that you could quantify even a specific purchase order or sales order, how much plastic they have associated, that companies could identify improvement actions that they would like to execute. And we are starting a proof of concept with CPG companies like Jameson that will help us test if this software, how this software could be improved for this specific industry. And we have an invitation for companies attending this event. We have 2 spots left in our proof of concept that whoever is interested could contact us in in our stand, and we could explain you more about this new product that we are presenting here. The benefits of reducing plastic waste are, really could create major benefits for the environment and the organizations. Between them, obviously, we will have less plastic waste into the environment. We also reduce the greenhouse emission associated to this plastic. Also, for companies could create more brand awareness about the efforts that you are doing trying to address these issues and provide this information to your more demanding customers. Have more accurate reporting about ESG. And finally, because we believe if you take care of people, profit, and planet, you could have even real savings from these type of tools and information that we could provide you. That is the topic. That is the end of the presentation. Thank you very much for your time, and I open the floor for discussions.
Hi, thank you very much. I'm just wondering what other types of supply chain solutions you guys have been looking at. Is plastic sort of the #1 issue you're looking to solve, and what other areas might a company work with you guys?
Yeah, thank you for the question. We have more than 20 different use cases for the traditional supply chain problems: procurement, inventory, demand planning, warehouse management. We have solutions so far for most of the supply chain problems that exist. What we are bringing today is for each of these problems, we are adding the sustainability perspective. That in case of, for example, we want to assess a procurement process, we not only measure cost and service, that we could measure plastic and carbon footprint, that if you have to select a vendor, you assess in a more comprehensive view of the factors that this supplier is having for you. And the idea is we want to introduce this supply chain perspective to all the models that we have. And we are starting with plastic, but this is a journey that carbon footprint is coming, probably extended network that we could track plastic not only in your company, also in your extended network. And the idea, this is the beginning of a journey, but we truly believe that we need to integrate sustainability as a core part of the supply chain, not as a side project that we do once a year. And that means we need to incorporate this factor on a daily basis and at the same level of strategic metric that other factors like cost have been having from a long time ago. Any other questions? If there is no more questions, thank you very much for your time.